Hi, I'm Mike Martin. I wanted to welcome, excuse me, sorry. Hi, I'm Mike Martin. I wanted to welcome SonicState.com to the Casio booth here at NAMM 2013, where we're debuting the new Privia Pro PX5S. The Privia Pro PX5S really redefines what someone would normally expect from a stage piano. It takes the best technology we've had in our Privia instruments up to now and adds a whole lot more. The engine that's behind this product is incredibly deep. In fact, it offers 256 notes of polyphony, and to call it a stage piano actually is just telling part of the story. As you guys broke on SonicState.com, this is the most powerful synth that Casio has ever built. So I'm going to dive in and show you some of the things that it can do. First of all, it's an 88-note weighted action digital piano, and as such we've got great acoustic piano sounds. Incredibly long samples, really great dynamic response to these piano sounds, and of course you can customize them on your own. If you want to do something quickly, like add an effect, you've got knobs and sliders over here on the left that you can just quickly grab to make a change. Every preset on the machine is completely configurable, so if you want a knob to be an EQ, a filter, a slider to be level control of a particular part, you can do that. So we're already pretty well known for our piano sounds, but one of the new things on the PX5S is that there's all new vintage instruments on board, so I'll dial up a couple of those. We've got one of these nice dirty Rhodes presets on here. Nice. Breaks up a little bit, and we can control things like the key off amount, so it's release velocity sensitive. So using the knob up here on the left, I can control the volume level of the Rhodes to really get that crunchy key off sound in there to make it more lifelike. And there's a variety of presets, again, with all the phasers and other nuances that you'd want with your electric piano sounds, and again, lots of real-time control.
Are they samples or models, those?
They are samples, but there are models of amplifiers to go with them. So for example, I'll back on that first Rhodes that I showed you, I can choose, if I can find the right, that's my distortion amount, I can choose different amp combinations, and those are in fact modeled. So so if you want to run your Rhodes or your Wurlitzer through like a Marshall stack simulation, we can do that. So some great stuff under the hood. Just a real quick taste of the Wurlitzers. We got tremolo, of course, and that's just a quick taste. One last thing in this vintage instrument category I want to show you are the Nuke Labs. So I'll dial up one of those, and we're doing something particularly cool. An ordinary foot switch can be given an envelope. So you can choose a destination, in this case, a parameter of our effects engine, and I can choose the ramp up and ramp down time to that particular effect. So in the case of a wah-wah sound, oops, I gotta turn off my wand wheel there. So when you're playing, just tap that pedal to the beat. So it's a really cool idea, and you can take that. You could do filter sweeps that way. You could do layer volume control, have something swell in and come back down. The applications are pretty wild. So since, I guess that's a good transition to some of the synth stuff. The PX5S takes some of the concepts that were originally introduced in the XW series and takes them to a whole nother level. So for example, we do have hex layer sounds, which we had introduced on the XW. It's a 6-layer kind of preset. But on the PX5 here, each layer now has its own filter envelope, its own pitch envelope, its own effects mix. And so we didn't have a lot of that control on the XW series.
So you've taken like almost the single voice and given it to each of the layers?
To each of the layers, and we can even have multiple hex layer programs going at once. And technically, using all 4 zones of the controller, that's 14 layers of sonic possibilities that you can have under your fingertips. So with 256 notes of polyphony, that's where it gets interesting. So here's a quick example of a hex layer preset. This particular one, I've got a little bell sound on layer 5 here. On layer 6, I'm doing a key up layer. This is also something new. And when you mix that kind of nice little sound with some other components, it gives you some nice animation. The filters on the new series, smooth as can be. There's one layer here where I just have a bandpass filter. Different than the low pass filter that I have on a different layer. So, resonance.
It sounds like it's smoother than on the
It's to compare it, obviously, like I said, we took concepts, but the new engine is completely different. It's so powerful. They're really smooth, warm, rich. So yeah, the whole engine, the effects engine, really can't be compared to the XW. So some other concepts were brought over here. Oh, and actually, I should show you. You can take a sound like that pad and layer it with our great piano sounds. You know. So this is just a 2-zone patch, and I technically have 7 layers going right now. So, so that's 2 layers, 2 zones. Each has their own insert effects. And we're not limited to just one insert effect like we had on the XW. So let me take you up to some other things that were, again, kind of borrowed from the XW. There are 4 independent arpeggiators, 1 for each zone. So I can, on a patch like this, have multiple things going on. That I have all the filters mapped on that preset. We've been making some of these presets here at the NAMM show, so the product's still under development. One of the great things about the PX5 is we'll easily be able to share presets and libraries. So, you know, if you want to dedicate this product to be a vintage stage piano, we're going to have libraries of presets of just electric pianos and clavs and those kinds of things. We're also going to have lots of sounds for synth libraries, so we're already developing those.
You're talking about zones. I mean, is there a master keyboard aspect?
So yeah, it's a 4-zone master controller. And again, with each of those zones, you can determine whether or not the zone pays attention to a particular knob or slider. So if I'm choosing that slider 1 here is going to be my filter control, I can say, well, zone 1 and 2, take advantage of that filter control, but zone 3 and 4, I don't want you to pay attention to that. So it's a really cool architecture. And that goes for all the physical controllers. You can assign them to anything, and that's internal parameters, or of course for external gear.
Sounds like you could do with an editor to access all of that.
It does come with a Mac and PC editor, so that will be available when the product ships. We'll get you some screenshots you can post on sonicstate.com. And one other pretty unique aspect as far as the master controller capabilities is each zone can access the USB out on the back independent of the MIDI out. So I, for example, could control zone 1, I could control an iPad app. Zone 2, I could control another rack module or tone module and still have, potentially 12 layers of sound coming from 2 hex layer patches on the XW.
So tell me a bit more about the keyboard. We don't have to touch on all that stuff.
The keyboard, it's our tri-sensor weighted action keyboard that we found that we've had in our Privia series, and it does not have aftertouch. I think in the process it was certainly part of the negotiation, but I think in order to keep the feel that Casio is known for in these new Privias, we didn't want to to change that too dramatically or affect the price, because the PX5 is an incredible value.
Okay. Well,
At which point you should be able to see it in the stores at the end of March or early April for, in the US, $999. So, I mean, sonically, it's the most diverse thing we've ever done, and just here at NAMM, we're just scratching the surface.
so, I mean, you can almost see, are people going to be buying it maybe, well, I want a master controller and a synthesizer, the piano's great, but that's like an added bonus.
Right. I mean, I think it's being an 88-note product, it is kind of piano-centric, but the synth side of the product is also so strong, and the controller capabilities are out of this world.
So tell me about the connections and what have you. Let's see
connections on the back, 2 pedal inputs. Again, those have that what we call an envelope response pedals, and they can be assigned to anything. There's a 1/4-inch outs, 1/4-inch ins, 2 headphone outs, and even an 1/8-inch audio win. And this brings up a great point. Those inputs are useful because you can record audio directly to the USB drive on this product. So anything that you're performing can be captured as a standard 44.1 WAV file. Pop it out, put it in your computer. It doesn't require any conversion, it's just a standard WAV file. Likewise, you can use that for backing tracks. You could use a foot switch or front panel control to trigger the start of a WAV file that you put in the machine. So lots of flexibility here, not only for loading and saving sounds, but for audio purposes. One last thing which has kind of brought up a lot of mystery online are the 2 mysterious screws here on the left side of the keyboard. This door actually opens. Well, I'll do it real quick. The machine will run on batteries, so if you're ever at a gig and somebody trips over your power cord, you're all set. If you accidentally left that behind, the PX5S will run on batteries, so it's a great way to save yourself at a gig situation if something happens to your power supply. So, like our other Privias, it's incredibly lightweight. It's 24 pounds. It's the lightest 88-note weighted action stage piano ever built. So, while some companies sacrifice the quality of the action to get it lightweight, this is the flagship action that we have in all of our Privias, yet we're still able to keep it at 24 pounds.
And is the USB MIDI only? Or is there audio?
Just MIDI. That's correct. It will also, just MIDI only. There's still some things we're working on, so I'll wait at this point.
And can you power over USB, or does it?
No, we need 12 volts, so, okay. Well, I really appreciate SonicState.com stopping by the Casio booth here at NAMM 2013. We'll see you online.